American politics is a very strange place filled with what some people refer to as dark money.
I thought you were going to say Americans.
Well, yes, it is also sadly filled with Americans, but there's not much we can do about that.
Just teasing our American friends.
Although less and less by the day, it seems. More Mexicans nowadays. But no, one of the biggest confusing parts of American politics to any outside observers is the existence of PACs and super PACs, which I was looking into this morning because Callum, I have to give credit for, sent me some information. He sent me some tweets that pointed to some of these PACs, in particular Occupy Democrats, our old buddies over there, not exactly being, let's say, honourable with where their donations were going.
What a shock.
And it doesn't seem that any of these organisations tend to be, whether on the left or right, it just seems like a gigantic money laundering scheme to me. One of the only sort of comparable organisations I could probably say that we have in the UK are Quangos.
Yep.
But even then, they aren't really the same, because
they're funded by the government.
Yeah, they're funded by the government, whereas these are supposed to directly create funds for them. So just to explain to anybody who doesn't know what a PAC or super PAC is, a PAC stands for a Political Action Committee. Super PAC is just a bigger version of that. And they say they're controlled, administered by firms, labour unions, corporations that invest money in elections. PACs can directly donate funds to their chosen candidate, but they can't exceed donations of $5,000 per election. In addition, they donate $15,000 a year to any national party committee and an additional $5,000 to any other PAC. Same time, they can accept a maximum of $5,000 annually from any individual firm, corporation, national party, or PAC.
And how much can a person donate to a PAC? Is there a limit?
This doesn't actually say if there's any individual limits on donations.
So I'm guessing that there's not. So this seems like a way for George Soros to basically bankroll the candidates of his choice.
Shockingly enough, it might be. And super PACs seem even more ripe for such corruption, because they say they're a more recent creation compared to traditional political action committees. They first appeared in 2010 following the decision of the Supreme Court in Citizens United versus FEC case. Super PACs cannot directly donate money to parties or candidates, but can raise unlimited amounts of money from donors, unions, and corporations without having to reject the $5,000 cap. The funds raised can be used to advocate for or advertise against political candidates or parties. So no cap. This is just money laundering.
So this is how George Soros pours billions into advertisements for Democrats.
Absolutely is. And we'll even cover some of the people that we've mentioned before as being obvious paid Democrat operatives that have been uncovered as well. But the first thing was that Occupy Democrats, this man Hamish Mitchell, found that just looking into it, because it's very easy to find all this information, because all you need to do is go on opensecrets.org, and they've got a full rundown, because all of these companies, all of these organisations have to declare all of the money they take, where it's going. And he says they run by Omar Rivero, raised $797,000 between 2021 and 2022, contributed $0 of that to federal candidates, and yet at the same time, shockingly enough, spent $577,000 on fundraising consultants.
This is clever. We should be doing this.
We should be doing this. but
I could be a fundraising consultant.
Yeah, but we're not, because
for $500,000.
It's probably something similar to how BLM, for instance, were funneling money to like one of the leader's brothers' consultancy organisations, and all the consultancy will be is coming in for an hour's lunch, maybe once a month, and probably laughing over their champagne, swilling it, massive cigars.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, there's going to be no accountability. There'll be no accountability for any of that sort of stuff. There's no way. There's no way of like declaring that wasn't the case. If they met for lunch, okay, well that was them doing it. Well, I mean, what more do you need? Well, there we go. Done.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, we're raising money. We're helping for these campaigns in some way. And he just goes on further to point out as well. He searched through the open secrets, and he just specifically went for any money put towards any candidates whatsoever. And I'm pretty sure that Occupy Democrats are a PAC rather than a super PAC, so they can give money directly to candidates. I mean, that's probably what you'd hope to do if you want to influence elections, as well as do all the viral stuff and whatnot. And scroll down, we can just see here. John, thank you. No one. We've not given money to anybody, but there's $577,000. I mean, we really, really needed to consult. And I'll get back to that in a moment, because Omar Rivero had a quite spectacular response to this that he has since deleted, but I'll get to that in a moment, because you can find all of this information, as I said yourself, if you check on the links in the website. You can go to opensecrets.org. For instance, I looked through it all myself this morning, and you can see, if you scroll down, they've got spending by election cycle. Here's total raised, total spent. They're spending quite a lot of money, and you can see that. And then one of the things I noticed as well when I was going through here was that they got I think a $20,000 donation from some random other PAC called the Fair and Balanced PAC. And if we go to the next one, here it is, Fair and Balanced PAC, contributions from other ones, just random 20 grand, here you go, take it, and then go to the next one for me. Okay, what do they do? Oh, they do nothing. All they do is receive money from another organization called Communications Workers of America, who gave them $50,000, and then the communication workers.
So they've retained $30,000 of that.
That's what it seems like. And these guys, the Communication Workers of America, they did actually contribute about 50% of their total income that they raised to contributions to political parties and candidates that they were supporting. But then there's another 50% of their money which seems to just go randomly to anywhere. I mean, most of it's going to expenditures. They spent almost $350,000 going to expenditures to committees, which will mean other political action committees. So,
nearly $500,000 on salaries.
Yeah, this is an absolute grift, and it's shocking to me that American politics allows this, because this is one of the things that you often hear the left complaining about in American politics, all the dark money going around the place, and whether or not they realise that it benefits their preferred political candidates or not. I think they do actually have a point that this is shady as all hell.
But the thing is, you'd be appealing to the people who are directly benefiting from this money to stop this.
Well, yeah, of course.
So how are you going to get them to do it? Because they're never going to do it.
I suppose I would have to be appealing to a leftist sense of integrity. Good luck there, am I right?
Or a politician's sense of integrity. Let's not be partisan about this.
Yeah, that's true. And one of the funny things was that Shu shared a post about this and pointed out, here's his deleted response that he sent to Hamish Mitchell, Omar Rivero. If you understood the time and effort that goes into making viral memes and the impact they have, you might respect our work more.
Bro, you think this is our first day on the internet?
You understand how expensive 4chan is?
Yes,
okay, do you understand? Meme science is a delicate issue. We need to send a lot of money into it. I've just got an image. I'm sure you've seen the picture of Walter White with his test tubes, where it's like leftists making the worst meme you've ever seen in your life. That's what I'm imagining he's funding right now. Yeah. And if you want to see the kinds of viral memes, I mean, we've gone over the Occupy Democrats and all this garbage that they put out before. This is just what they do on a day-to-day basis. Every single hour, they'll put out some clickbaity headline: breaking, Republican Jan 6 committee chair Liz Cheney declares that if Trump is the Republican presidential nominee in 2024, she won't be a Republican and will do anything she can to campaign against him. Retweet to thank Liz for putting country over party. So almost 20,000 likes.
I follow Occupy Democrats on Facebook, right? And every day they put out what I would just call lies, just extremist lies.
Oh, yeah.
Designed to totally inflame their followers into thinking that the opposition is just evil. And so if that's the case, and you get an endorsement from them, well, then I think you're on the wrong side.
Yeah, you might want to question whether you're evil or not. So.
Yeah.
And Sticks and Hammer actually, top comment there, go back for a sec, retweet to thank Dick Cheney's daughter for being a warmongering pig.
Basically.
Fair play. Right there. And it really is the level of just overt, clear political propaganda. And I just wanted to relate this to something I saw yesterday.
And this is not good for the Republic either.
No, it's not. It's not good for unity.
Yeah, characterizing your opponents as just evil, always doing evil, and being paid to do so. Well, I think that's having a fairly negative effect on the political fabric of your country. But what do I know?
Yeah, but it's so transparent and so blatant. I just wanted to draw comparisons because I saw this yesterday and I wanted to fit it in somewhere, somehow. So I just saw this and it just reminded me of this kind of level of political propaganda from the Palmer Report, who unironically got 10,000 likes for stating that history has accurately recorded that liberals of every era were morally ahead of their time and that the conservatives of every era were the villains. history just doesn't identify them as liberals and conservatives, so as not to hurt the feelings of today's conservatives. 10,000 likes, probably if you go into his account, I don't know if he's got like donations or something, you could probably donate money to this guy. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. It carries on down here. Not only are today's liberals on the correct side of every issue, you know, drag queen story hour, that's just the correct side of the issue. Chopping off
decriminalizing giving people AIDS in California. Right side of every issue.
Yeah, right side of history, Carl. I just don't think that we've gotten over the fact that we're on the wrong side of history. Obviously. And they don't even stop there. This person says not only are they on the correct side of every issue, history will ultimately conclude that today's liberals weren't nearly liberal enough. Just as history already shows that every previous generation's liberals weren't liberal. Yeah, we're chopping...
What else is there? We're releasing violent criminals from prison. I mean, isn't that the right side of history? Is this not as liberal as it can get?
It's
what
funny
do you need to do?
When we talk about the Whigs' view of history, this is like identifying that there must be some kind of pinpoint where there is the end of history, where, you know, people can just be free to remove body parts at will, beat each other to death, and rape at will.
I want my state-mandated heroin injection. I want it now. Yeah. Like, so what is the point of history in this person's view? Where do they think they're trying to get to?
I guess we'll figure it out when we get there. That seems to be the prevailing idea. We'll just figure it out when we get there. When everybody is progressive enough, we'll all just innately know.
I love the back patting of this. Like, we're so brilliant. We've always been brilliant, and we've never done anything wrong. And you're the villains. You always have been. Like, okay, calm down.
Yeah, why was it Margaret Sanger tried to push for abortion again?
Because she was a conservative.
Oh, must have been. Not a liberal progressive or anything, no. And there's another one.
There are so many terrible things. Like, all of the... like lobotomies and all sort of medical experiments and stuff like that. Fascism, all this stuff. The Soviets, these were progressive and forward-thinking.
Domestic to the USA, prohibition. That was a progressive idea. That was a liberal idea. It was terrible. It didn't work.
Incredible.
Chicago became Chicago as a result of that. And there was this other beautiful piece of propaganda that I saw that I know that you saw as well.
I'm thinking about covering this on the weekend actually, but carry on.
Well,
I might change.
I'll briefly mention it. Just this how fascism works, the politics of us and them, from Jason Stanley.
Oh, thank God. We can finally draw a distinction between us and them.
I'm so glad.
If only we'd been able to do that for all of human history. But no, it was only until the 20th century when fascism was invented that we were able to distinguish between us and them.
Tribal distinctions.
It's so stupid. It's so ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure Julius Evola came up with the idea of groups. So it must be a fascist idea. There's just some of the ideas he's putting in here. Facts are debased without common understanding. The idea that we come from a mythic past.
I'm going to talk about this more, but like, can you imagine some leftist coming up to him going, the Nazis are debasing facts. It's like, define woman. Just define woman. Now we'll have a conversation. Oh, we can't. Right, okay. There we go. That must have been the fascists that redefined woman, you
I know.
Unbelievable liars.
Victimhood, any gains for minorities, them are a loss for us.
The left has never been the victim of anything.
No,
it's unbelievable. I mean, no leftist has ever embraced victimhood.
Yeah, I mean, like Occupy Democrats, like everything else, this kind of propaganda isn't meant to convince anybody. It's not meant to bring anybody over to the side. Wait, sexual anxiety? Sorry, if you don't want to sleep with me, you're a fascist.
Yeah, literally. If you don't want to sleep with trans people, you're a fascist.
Suck the dick bigger. Oh, my God.
They are deviant and threatening, says the people who are about to go off to Drag Queen Story Hour.
Sodom and Gomorrah. We come from the rural heartland, the backbone of the nation. They live in the cities. I mean, Maoist China wants to have a word with you about what they did to the countryside.
The industrial workers of the world.
Yeah, what the city folk did to the Chinese countryside. Not particularly nice.
Same as the Soviet Union.
Yeah, I mean they're not good people. But it's the same with these political memes. They just want to have their own opinions projected back in them. The things that you believe mean you're the good guy. Everybody else is the bad guy. Fascism doesn't mean fascism, at least not in the way that it meant in the early 20th century. Fascism just means not left enough.
Fascism just means unacceptable, right?
Yeah,
that's
basically.
What it means. We disagree.
Deplorable.
Yeah, deplorable. Yeah. That's what it's come to mean.
And but going back to it as well, we've seen many people accepting this kind of dark money, like Brooklyn Dad Defiant, who was a bit of a meme last year, but seems to have dropped off the radar just a little bit because he was accepting up to almost $60,000, $57,088 in 13 payments from the Really American I feel like that's just trying to convince themselves, yeah, we're really American, guys.
But yeah, he's literally just a paid shill on Twitter.
But
60 grand a year just to tweet
it
things
seems
about the
that
Republicans.
it's not quite as lucrative as once it was, because they got this information from opensecrets.org, and if you go to the next link, it seems that it's not paying out as well. He's gone from $60,000 over 13 payments. He's only got $12,750 over 3 payments.
At least he's got
this year.
some good experience on his CV.
Yeah, at least he can know that he was
Paid
fighting...
propagandist for the Democrats.
Yeah, he was fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
And for Occupy Democrats, to show the hypocrisy of it as well, they even point out when other organisations do this. Lincoln Project filing shows millions of dollar donations funneled to personal companies.
Isn't that the Nonce Project?
Yes.
Right.
They were probably...
The Nonce Project's just like, yeah, we love Lincoln, which is why you should vote Democrat. It's like,
They were probably also funneling it to like Nambla or something. Let's be honest. I'm just imagining the guy writing this article for Occupy Democrats, learning about how they were funneling all the money, going, I think we can use this ourselves.
Yeah.
And just to reinforce it as well, like I say, this is not anything new or even particularly partisan to American politics. This goes over both lines, because there was a Politico article from 2015 talking about the rise of scam PACs, where they just say a political action committee called the Conservative Action Fund blasted an email to thousands of recipients urging them to help us stop Jeb Bush today. Bush could be persuaded to stay out of the race, they said, if hundreds of thousands of conservative grassroots activists signed petitions by December to be hand-delivered to Jeb Bush in a very public way that would presumably shame him out of the race. And after you sign the petition, please make sure to donate $5, $15, $25 or even more to get more signatures. The email concluded in underlined bold text, embedded with a hyperlink that took readers to a petition landing page that asked for their cash. So
years ago, a bunch of people, to troll me, decided to sign up one of my email accounts.
Oh, did they?
All of these things. And so every single day, I get exactly those kind of emails. And I just look at them and think, who the hell is persuaded by this?
Well, it's a scam.
It must work, though.
Well,
like,
that's
there
the
must
thing.
be, like, American boomers who are like, yeah, I'm going to defeat the Republicans, or yeah, I'm going to defeat the Democrats by giving whoever these people are, like, $20.
Well, I mean,
It must be.
right.
Otherwise, they wouldn't do it.
The Nigerian prince scam must have worked on at least
Yeah,
one
yeah.
person over the years for it to be so prevalent. So, yeah, this has to work. And then they just carry on. The PAC's treasurer told us that the email got an extremely positive response in petition signatures and contributions. More than 1 month later, the Conservative Action Fund had yet to deliver any signed petitions to Jeb Bush. What a shock. It did, however, send out another email this month urging recipients to sign a petition to tell Mitt Romney to sit 2016 out and then to make a contribution of at least $17.76 today. Cringe.
Yeah.
Cringe. But it probably worked.
Yeah.
Somebody was fooled by it. And then they just go on to give a report of a bunch of the different PACs and found that over a bunch of them, they all raised about $43 million. And most of it went on ads and self-campaigning and probably along the lines of Occupy Democrats, fundraising consultancy, all that sort of stuff. And they only sent... they didn't really send very much to the campaigns that they were trying to support, shockingly enough. So American politics, still ridiculous. Be ashamed of yourselves, and maybe you should stop these PACs existing. I don't know.
They're never going to, though.
They're not going to. There's way
exist
too
until
much
the
money
death of
goes through it.
democracy.
But yeah, you are right. This is a terrible way to operate politically. But anyway.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the premium articles we do, this one on the struggle for control of America's national narrative from John Tangney, and there is also an audio track for silver and gold tiers, of course. If you want to find out what else we're putting out, you can follow us on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.